It's backseat drivers time. Good evening and welcome to Backseat Drivers number 11 for the year. Big news this week, Daniel Ricciardo in a new Optus ad. That was about the most exciting thing that happened all week. I got myself a little, LED kind of light. I've just been playing around. This looks ridiculous. But we'll play around with that during the night while we talk about all things Formula One, IndyCar and motorsport in general. To help me with that, we've got Matt, who's coming from his Miami mansion.
Sorry, I was dancing to your lights.
It's disco time. And the super subs filling in once again because Rob's off on sick leave.
G'day. All right. Oh, where did Matt go?
And Matt's probably had a seizure from the lights and he's disappeared. So,
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we'll just wait here patiently until he comes back. No, we won't.
No, let's go.
Bugger him. Yeah, we've got plenty to talk about. This light's kind of driving me insane. So let me just
that's better.
Move that off to the side for a second.
That's all good.
It's quite fun. I should have probably played around with the setup before we got into this. But we've got some, there's many, for starters, Chemist Warehouse hat. Look at that. Yep. We got this free. So nice. Believe it or not, I didn't pay money for this. And someone didn't believe that I would wear it on the live stream. So, they wanted. Can you believe someone wanted to throw this hat in the bin?
Really?
Yeah. You get a free hat. You get a free hat. And the comment was, you are never going to wear that. And I went, yes, I will. What about the live
Challenge
stream?
accepted. You
will not wear that on the live stream. There it is on the live stream. I bet she's not even watching.
Of course not.
So, hi to E-Scooter Hat Championship and hi to Max as well. That's fine, Max. It seems at the moment that Matt is late and he's just disappeared, so we don't know what's going on with him. But there was some racing over the weekend, and there was lots of racing. Obviously, we won't get into supercars here, but then we had multiple Formula One qualifyings and racings over the weekend.
Yep.
Because that's what we do now. And then we had an interesting IndyCar race on Monday after the,
You can fill me out on that one. You can fill me out on that one because I couldn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Well, that was actually exciting. So,
oh, really? Okay.
They were at Barber Motorsports Park, and typically, I don't know because I haven't watched F2, so I don't know if it was F2 exciting or not.
Okay, I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, we'll go over it. So, Barber Motorsports Park, this race is typically a 2 or 3 stop race. And in IndyCar, you can genuinely have like a 2-stop strategy or a 3-stop strategy. And some of the guys went one way, some went the other. And this one quite worked out perfectly. So in the end, it was between Scott McLaughlin and Romain Grosjean. And Scott was on the 3-stop strategy. Romain was on the 2-stop strategy. Scott came out of the pits just ahead of Romain after his last stop. Because Romain his tyres were warm and that, he actually got past Scott on that lap. And then a few laps later, obviously, because Scott had new tyres, got him up to speed, and he had more fuel. Like he didn't have to worry about fuel saving because he was doing this 3-stop and he could power through. And he went on to win. But it was also a genuine. It wasn't just hit the DRS and go sailing past down the straight. There was an actual battle for the lead. Two different strategies, 2 different teams. A New Zealander and a Frenchman.
All right, the Kiwi one. That's all right.
Yeah, the one from the 7th Australian state. And we've got Matt back.
He's back.
Welcome, Matt.
Sorry about that. I came to the realization
that Miami.
Stuck here Thursday nights to do a podcast, had enough and left. And then I realized that I'm needed in this show because I'm the 4th most
because we're relying on gimmicks like LED and Chemist Warehouse hats to excite the people.
I decided just to put the brightest hat I had, to represent Miami.
Is that so it blends in with the background? So that
it does.
Yeah,
I like how you think I thought that far ahead, Dave.
Your green screen thing is really not working too well.
No, what do you mean my green screen? This is my house. Look at my piano over here.
At least I'm realistic. Like my green screen all blends in together because I did a really good choice on colours. I'm not sure how it would have gone. Asking for green blinds and green walls in this room.
spray paint.
That's when you get. That's then the easy way to fix that is you just get a green bit of fabric, just hang it up behind the back of you. Yeah,
but then I've got to change that. If I just painted it green.
I know, the lace. I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The lace. Why do more work when you don't have to?
Exactly. It's ready to go every week.
Exactly.
Or we just have this sexy background. Yeah.
What?
It's all professionalism around here.
It's all. I had to do this because we're reviewing.
I've got seizure lights and.
We're reviewing.
So, Dave, are you saying that seizure lights are now a accepted thing for this podcast, and I can bring mine?
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. How annoying is that for everyone? I'm just wondering if I can kind of clip it onto the somehow.
If you could get some royalty-free beats, Dave, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, that's a bit better. We can hang it off
hang it off the back there works all right.
Back of my hat.
And you know what, Dave? And they say our podcast doesn't get better every day. I mean, this is
you mean every week
constant improvement.
Yeah. See, we're doing this for the people.
Yeah.
You can see the effort that goes into improving the show. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Now, who is so excited by it?
This is what our podcasts have that others don't.
The depths. Here we go.
I think if you turn the light off, e-scooter, Dave stops talking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically his brain power.
I've got to which light? The big light in the room. Here, I've got to unclip all my electronics and let's go turn the big light off and see what happens. You talk amongst yourselves while I go and do some technical stuff.
Booby.
Yeah.
How on a scale of 1 to almost falling asleep, how exciting was the F1 to you?
Okay, let me put it this way. Quite literally, the first just before the first pit stops, not bad. Around that time, after that, quite literally.
Remind me again,
no, Matt.
Because to me, it was one big, not pit stop, but just sort of one big. I thought it was the same car every time. Like literally nothing
that's what
happened.
It looked like it. Yeah, basically up until about the first pit stop, there was a little bit of action. Then after that, quite literally after the first pit stop, I fell asleep, woke up, and it was still the same order. Quite literally, I missed out about 20 laps. I went like 20. I missed out on 20 laps, but nothing happened. And
no, you missed absolutely nothing.
I missed nothing. I even did a quick replay just to see what the hell I missed out on. I looked. I missed out on nothing. That's it. Yes. No, we're talking about the F2 later. Andrew. We're talking about F2 later. That was awesome. But yeah, but in terms of the F1, it was just like, it was like, could you sleep could I actually did fall asleep? That's how bad it was. Hey, we got the homies.
Are we talking about how boring the Formula One race was?
Yes, we are.
Dave, was that a race or just an exhibition on how cars can go around a course?
It's an exhibition. That's what it was. Quite literally.
Yeah, without trying to be negative towards Formula One, the sprint race was a short version of the boring full Grand Prix.
Yeah.
No, actually, I take it back. You know what was good, Dave? The best thing that happened on the weekend.
What was that?
Little George grew some balls and took it to Max. And Max called him a dickhead.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah.
That was fantastic. And I have more respect for George now than I have ever before.
Yeah.
Although also this track also proved one thing. Like this was at Baku. Imagine what they're going to do. What the Red Bulls are going to do at Monza. It's going to be nuts. Like
I'm
the way they
hoping there's
overtook
going to be more people crashing into.
Max.
Yeah, I hope Princess George just goes through puberty through this season and just constantly gives it to Max, because I feel like Max has now become
He's become the new Lewis.
Yeah.
He's become the new Lewis. He's become the new bitchy thing. It's just getting to the point now where he's complaining about everything. It's like, well, it's like, come on. Okay, the whole reason why we liked you in the first place was something different from Lewis. Now you've become Lewis.
Yeah, and
like I said, he's become the Anakin Skywalker. He was meant to bring order to F1, and he's failed. And now George, Obi-Wan, has now become wise beyond his years, and he's chopping him down to size.
Yeah.
And then George will win, and he'll become evil, and it will continue.
I'm not getting excited about George anymore.
No,
How come?
I don't know. He's just whingy and whiny, and he was all right this weekend. Like, he wasn't whinging about that was Max doing all of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, George. I'm not warming to George.
You're not warming. I know he's not like our favorite. He's not like our favorite rookie of the year.
No, that's it. And Alonso's really done a lot for his his brand.
His image. His brand.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant now. Like before I remember like back in the day, you think Alonso, you're like, oh, great driver, but just it was a great driver.
Yeah, he did come in really good. Like the early days at Renault and that, Minardi, and then the early Renault stuff, that was really exciting. Yeah. And then he went to McLaren, and then the Ferrari stuff, and then back to McLaren, and it was a train wreck kind of thing. But now he's come back, and he's a troll, and
But do you think he's just having more fun now that he's in it's turned out he's in a very good team that's not expected to have done well. He's already done very well for himself. So he's like, I'm here basically to help to babysit the kid and give him, to show his dad what he can become.
Yeah.
And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to troll people and just generally piss fart around and maybe every so often get on the podium.
The best is even like the whole like the Tay thing, and like that post from him or whatever, where he's got the music playing in the background or whatever, and he's just sat there, and then he's like that's just amazing. Like you wouldn't have got that, and most drivers would take it too seriously and wouldn't want to play the game. Yeah, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to lean into this.
The funny thing is, though, he's reached the age now, is basically our age. He's basically reached the point where doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't care what people says. I'm going to have the best time. I'm going to have the best time. I'm going to do it my own way. I don't give a shit. And if you guys enjoy the ride, come along with me. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And good on him.
And that's what I like seeing it. Like he just seems to genuinely being enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it was like Vettel in his
but
last
he's under
season
no pressure. I don't think he's probably been told you're here as like a mentor to my boy. If you can make us look good, and if we finish like second or third in the constructors, you'll probably get a yacht. You'll probably get a big Stroll yacht that just says strolling around. And something like that, and he'll just
wonder.
life.
Yeah, you do wonder what kind of bonus system that he's on this year as well.
Point. I wonder if it's like Kimi Räikkönen at third point.
Well, that was a fuck up and a half, wasn't it?
That was brilliant.
Yeah, but there would be. I'd imagine there'd be some kind of bonuses with how well they're doing this year, but. Yeah,
sure.
it would be a fairly big.
But Dave, you know, with those bonuses, right? Let's say I've got you and Booby and my drivers, right? And you're the more senior driver, and I know that I'm quietly confident that the car I've made this year is very good. If I'm giving you bonuses, wouldn't you sort of like tone them down a bit? Because if you're quietly confident that you've done pretty well during over the off season, I wouldn't be like, hey Alonso, for every podium you get, I'm giving you $1 million, because that'll sort of go again. That means it's going to cost me a lot of money if I'm right about my car. You play,
it's hard though, because they would have done the contract middle of last year when they don't so much know. Like, say, take the Kimi Enstone situation. They didn't know that they were going to be that competitive the next year, and they were doing that because they didn't have a heap of money. And you're like, right, we'll get Kimi into the team. We won't give him, but we'll give him all these bonuses if we do well, not expecting to do quite that well. But it also acts as a motivational thing, like, because you don't quite, and even there's a bit of a question mark over Alonso going, say, to Aston Martin this year, how good he was, and all that kind of stuff. So in the example of Kimi especially, he was coming back from having 3 years off. It was 2 or 3. Anyway, he was away for a period of time, so you don't quite know how good he is. So that provides extra motivation for him. Hey, if you win a race or whatever, you get a huge amount of money. So you know you're going to get him trying to push to get his paycheck.
But like with Kimi and Alonso, they're both quite old and experienced drivers.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that if that was the same car and you didn't have, say, Kimi, and you had, I don't know, Oscar or one of the rookies, you wouldn't have been getting anywhere near those results.
Well, in that second year, though, you'd argue Grosjean probably had the better second half of the year. In like the second year at Enstone there, I think Kimi won a race real late in the first season with them. But then in the second year, it was Grosjean probably taking it to the Red Bulls, whereas Kimi had started to slide off again. Yeah, well, he already had his big contract with Ferrari again.
He already got
he was also then not being paid from Enstone because they didn't have enough money to pay him. So I think he ended up actually sitting out he hurt his back towards the end of that second season if you're not going to pay me, I'm not going to turn up. So, and then something happened and then he turned up, I think maybe for the final race. I can't remember exactly. But yeah. But
speaking of sitting out of races, Dave, I had to think about this, and I still reckon your prediction that Perez isn't going to be driving. But here's my my thinking, right? If Perez and Max just keep winning 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and mixing it up 2 and 1, and then Alonso or Stroll just coming along, will it get to the point later in the year where they have to pull Perez aside and go, look, you're doing really well for the constructors. We're 400 points clear. But you're really making Max nervous because you're only, 10 points behind. Can you do your, as you said, do your back and let Dan just go for a race and stuff? We need constructor points, but we don't want Red Bull points going to you. Can we give them to Dan for a couple of races so he gets points and Red Bull still gets the points? But Max is now 100 points clear. You can come back later and win all the street races you like. We just don't want you there.
If they time it right, they probably could get first, second, third in the championship.
Yeah, they probably could. Well, let me put it this way. Just checking the live standings. Max is on 93 points and Sergio is on 87. So there's only 4 points of difference.
That's what I mean.
Miami.
It's going to get,
and
if it keeps staying this close.
Yeah. Let Max get nervous. Why not?
But having said that, like traditionally Max hasn't probably been great at Baku. It is a Perez kind of circuit.
It is a big circuit, yeah.
This weekend will be a little bit more in Max's favour compared to like a Baku. So we should see kind of Max more in that typical realm of being up ahead. And then he'll get a few wins on the board. But at Baku, like the Ferrari, Aston, Mercedes were all very close.
Yeah.
So it will only take like another Melbourne kind of thing where Perez is just off. But this time he won't be second. He could revert back to that fourth, fifth, sixth kind of thing. And then all of a sudden Max will start getting chunks of points ahead. Whereas at the moment you have that Lewis-Rosberg problem where, Nico's like, all I have to do is finish second. And they had no one challenging. So he just cruised around in second position.
Well, I think the way it's going at the moment, Perez, as long as he finishes second or first,
that's the thing.
He's going to keep pushing Max. He's just going to keep pushing Max.
And that's the thing. Like, you cannot afford to have a failure.
Not yet.
Because when you're that... But I think that the others will chip away at that gap.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that's when Max will start getting bulk point.
So pretty much either way, if Perez gets too close, they'll have to say something to him. And if he gets too far, they're going to have to say something to him.
Well, I don't know whether Red Bull just let him go, because the smart thing, and granted that was 2010 and the roles were reversed because the wrong guy was leading the championship, but it would have been quite easy for them to say, hey, Seb, like, we want to win the championship. You've got to play second fiddle to Mark now, and this is how next year you go and dominate kind of thing. But we want to lock this one down. But they just let him go. And that could have imploded, and you could have seen, was it still 5 of them technically within shot going into the last round, or had Button
Something
dropped?
like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whether Button was still involved going into the last round.
What season
But
was
you
this?
could,
2010.
but you could have had Mark, if Seb hadn't fought him, like with about 5 rounds to go, it was fairly clear like Mark was the team leader or whatever, and you could have strategically, and Mark could have wrapped it up earlier, but they just let them go.
Do you think now they're probably a bit more structured when it comes to how they dictate who gets?
I think the difference is now though the favorite is in the lead, and that was the thing. Like, Mark was still an outsider, and that's Perez is kind of an outsider because he hasn't come up through the Red Bull ranks.
Well, that's what I mean. If they're going to pick anyone, they want you probably want Max just to win one after another.
But it's even to an extent like the whole Red Bull marketing kind of thing. The weird thing going for Perez is that he doesn't really fit that Red Bull kind of younger action kind of person. Whereas, say, like a Dan Ricciardo definitely fits that bill.
He'll be working at Red Bull forever.
Oh, yeah. He'll be PR for Red Bull for God knows how long. Yeah, I'm just checking it out. Yeah, so the top 3
So Dan
in
Ricciardo and
season,
Perez are the exact same age.
But you wouldn't believe it, would you?
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
I'm trying to think, when did they have their debuts? Because Dan was 2011, wasn't it?
I think Dan started 1 year early, didn't he? He would have been.
I'm fact checking. Give me a sec.
I thought he was 2012. That was 2012. When did Perez start then?
I'm checking it now.
Perez would have been 2011, wouldn't he?
Maybe Perez started earlier.
Perez, 2011.
Yeah.
Australian Grand Prix, 2011. Mr. Ricardo.
2012.
Was Silverstone.
Did he start that late?
Oh no, he joined Toro Rosso in 2012, so it would have been.
So he
joined in
was-
No.
2011.
No, wait. 2011
2011
British
British.
Grand Prix. 2011
Yeah,
British
with
Grand Prix.
Spanier. So they both started the same year. Just Dan was halfway through. Pit lane Ocon.
Can I ask
What
a quick
the hell
question,
was that?
Dave?
Yeah.
I was watching the race, and on the side of the screen, they show like the positions and they show the tire picks. On it said pit stops. And
0.
as I've learnt from the years, you've taught me you have to have at least one pit stop. So when they showed the little tower and it said OCO, I think is his name, it had pit stops 0. And in my mind, I've looked at it and gone, there's only 2 laps left. He's going to do a weird pit stop and probably put softs on and do like a super thing, because that's what I would do, and it sounds mental and crazy and fun. If I'm a reporter, I would have seen this and gone, hey guys, don't be alarmed, but there's probably going to be a car coming down at 80 kilometers an hour down that section of road. Maybe just wait afterwards, because there's a good chance you're going to get hit by it.
So from the photographer's point of view, they probably don't know quite what's going on during the race. Like, they'll all go down to, say, turn 1 for the start to try and get, if there's any accidents, whatever, and they'll have probably picked some points around the track that they'll travel to during the race and get some shots, and then they would all be trying to get either to Parc Fermé or the finish line or whatever to get that shot. Depending on what their assignment is for the weekend, they'd be aiming for, either that or get, the guys crossing the finish line. So it's probably not so much on the photographers, because they probably wouldn't be following the whole race as closely as, say, what you might be on the TV at home. Well, this is the FIA, as they're pulling the bollards and whatever out, someone should have said, hey, by the way, there's, because didn't someone else stop on the second last lap as well when they were already
George came in?
Yeah. But that was to go for fastest lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he was also doing it very late.
Yeah, but I think there was someone else, but they stopped on the second last lap, whereas Ocon came in on the last.
I know, George
lap.
George did like second or third last lap, and they put on the super fasts.
Yeah, anyway, they should have gone, hey, we definitely know someone's still got to stop.
Yeah.
Pull, just, hold it, give them a bit of space until they've driven through, and then good to go.
Footage of them putting the barrier up too. And they were saying that if Ocon...
That's the thing. The car's coming down there and they're pulling the barrier across.
Yeah.
You can see the car coming down pit lane. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're saying if Ocon missed it, he would have hit that idiot thing. I think the FIA is investigating F1.
No, they've investigated it. They have investigated it.
The stewards were investigating or something. It was actually...
I thought the FIA was investigating the actual F1, because the FIA is the governing body of all of motorsports, right? It's like, not to get myself a penalty, but it's sort of like the FIFA equivalent, the highest governing body of the sport. Because when I saw that, even in my mind, I was thinking someone's going to have to pull in for like a super pit stop.
My problem was, I'll be honest, I was working on some stuff for the video that I was recording on Monday night during the Grand Prix, because I was like, well, nothing's happening now. And I had the Grand Prix on one screen and Photoshop going on the other screen. So I
basically had it sitting on a phone.
I was slightly invested in Photoshop more than the Grand Prix at this point. And then I'd heard the thing and then looked and I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. How has this got to this point?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But then there's certain things that happen at my workplace and you're like, how in the fuck did that get to that point? And then you're like, well, this is, essentially the FIA, etc. It is all a workplace. People make mistakes. But the key thing is to learn from it now and go, hey, this is fucked.
So basically,
until everyone's crossed the line,
everyone's done
it.
Exactly.
We can't block the pit lane while it's a live race.
Dave, even another way, let's imagine everyone has a pit stop, but Mercedes decide, hey, Lewis, if you want the fastest lap, if you pull in now, like they don't need to tell the photographers they're pulling in.
No.
But if one of the lower teams wanted to just chuck on the softs and just do a quick flying lap, they wouldn't even know.
Typically, that would happen a couple of laps before the end.
Exactly.
So you can get out and do your lap. But who's to say, like, someone didn't tag the wall in the last lap and they're coming into the pit lane, like, to finish the race, and you might have, like, tagged the wall. The car might not be working properly or something, like it could be crab walking. And then you're like, oh, shit, there's people over there, hit the brakes, and it, veers to the left into them or something like that. So really there should be hey, this is a live racetrack still. We do not go onto, because the pit lane is part of the racetrack during the race. The race is still going on. Would you walk out onto the track? No.
I mean,
Dave,
they're not allowed to jump on the fence. They can't go on the fence now. Well, why should they be allowed to go out in the pit lane?
And
that's the mechanics.
But that's a health and safety thing that they've decided. So as long as they then fix this issue, for the next Grand Prix, that's fine, because no one got hurt. Shit, this shouldn't be happening like that. Let's correct it. The thing is, if they turn around and go, oh, no, it's all fine.
No.
Like, then we start going...
They need to correct that, for sure.
Yeah.
You can't have that going on.
That's it.
Also, E-Scooter was saying that he thought he heard a GTA thing in the background. The message tone. That was just my phone. I'm not actually playing GTA.
Oh,
that's my message.
Look at Popular Boovie getting messages.
Well, it was messaged there, so I had to think it.
Yeah, so I don't get it. The mechanics who are probably more spatially aware of cars coming along can't climb a fence, but a photographer who's only thinking about getting a shot can run across a what do they call it? The fast lane or something?
Yeah. The thing with climbing the fence, though, is that they're saying the fences aren't rated to have 50 people climbing onto them.
But they're meant to protect a car flying into it.
Yeah, that's different.
That's a lot stronger than 50 people holding onto it.
No, but you got to remember that's constant. Like a car hitting onto a fence for less than 1 or 2 seconds. It's not like a guy hanging off that for about half a lap waiting for his guy to come around. So
yeah, but the force required, it just seems a bit ridiculous that you
but obviously
mechanics who are probably smarter than a photographer who has no idea and will just run on the track. Okay. Yeah, if they have the feet on the concrete, that's what is it from basic civil engineering? The tensile and like compression strength or something?
Yeah, it's all good.
They wouldn't know. Dave's like accounting.
I'm not an engineer.
well, me and Matt are computer scientists, so what would we know?
No, but exactly. I know a Turkish civil engineer.
Yes, who's back in Melbourne.
The smartest man alive.
Yes, but no, we won't go into that. All right, what else we got to talk about? What else are we talking about? So I think that covers the pit lane thing.
Are we talking about Dan Ricciardo going to the Met Gala?
What?
He wore a nice suit. He wore a nice suit. He looked okay.
Yeah. This is fill me in. I don't understand.
I learned this from my better half. Basically, the Met Gala is where fancy rich people go to dress up. It's hated by a lot of people because the person that they're idolizing this year turns out was a piece of crap. Basically, I showed a photo of him and she went, yep, that's the Met Gala. I'm like, cool, what is it? Explained it to me. And I go, well, that's all I need to care about the Met Gala because Dan's no longer there. I'm on my way. And then I watched a video of him in his next sponsor, the Ski-Doo, and then he's done it. That's the second Optus one, right? I've seen another
I think
one.
so, yeah.
Yeah, he's done a few Optus things, I
He's
think.
done a few
Yeah,
Optus
because
ones,
he's a
but
chief
this one,
optimism officer.
yeah, but this one was
He's
the,
opted in.
but yeah, this one was the working off the store and just get the three guys on.
This wasn't actually an ad, was it? This was
No.
a thing for
No,
a
it was
radio
more a,
station.
Yeah, but
You know
obviously
my
they did it with
favourite
Optus.
one is when I think he's at I think it's Renault, where they did his first day in the office, and he
that
does the
was
whole office thing. And they need to do like that at Red Bull. They need to have him as a David Brent just walking around the office, chatting to people.
Oh, that would work.
Because I can see Dan just being at Red Bull for the rest of his life, just being, and I can see almost F1 telling Red Bull, you need to keep him there because if we lose him, you're going to lose a lot of casual viewers. Because I think there's certain camps. There's the people that love Max, there's the people that love Mr. Lewis, and then there's the people that lust after Leclerc, as I found out from my better half and other women. And then there's the people who love seeing people like Norris, Dan, Yuki, you know, the wacky kids that are literally just there because we needed 10 other drivers that just happened to be able to drive fast. Like, let's be honest, Yuki's not going to do anything besides give a smile, put a smile on your face. He's probably never going to get a podium in the next, you know. But
well,
people remember him.
They keep saying that, you know, Yuki, give him another season and he might be Red Bull material.
No. You know what a Yuki will do?
As soon as Honda's out the door.
The problem with Yuki is if he drives the Red Bull car and complains just once that the car's shit, they're going to know he's lying. Because basically, if Dan gets it right this year and either wins and gets a podium, it kind of means that anyone that jumps in that car is given a win.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed.
Like, if Dan jumps in the car in about, I don't know, 8 to 10 races and doesn't get a podium, whereas Max and Perez have, there's going to be, you know, it basically looks like that car is a cheat code.
Yeah.
And if you can drive an F1 car, you're going to kind of get a win.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, it essentially is.
Well, is anyone going to be catching them anytime soon, Dave? Because it doesn't look like it. McLaren had all those upgrades, and they did a lot.
Well, they were better than...
They were better than what they were in the other races, but you got to. It's going to still take time, Matt.
Here's my turd, and I'm just going to polish it up a little bit. It's still a turd.
Yeah,
Matt, it takes time.
Leclerc had both pole positions over the weekend.
Yeah.
I know Ferrari was good.
Yeah, and Aston are still kicking around there. Mercedes is good.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They improved a little bit, not much. I said a little bit, not much, Matt.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be far away from beating Perez.
No.
Like,
give it a couple of more races and a few more upgrades. Then there might be,
what's the first normal circuit?
Imola.
Imola? Yeah.
Imola. That's the first normal track.
You watch at Imola.
Oh, yeah.
So when's Imola coming up?
The 2 weeks after Miami.
Oh, so it's in what? 7 days?
3 weeks.
Oh, I thought it was just one race after another now.
No. They're actually putting it.
They're just going to do a super.
Friday in Miami is now going to be a super sprint.
Just 2 laps.
Yeah, we're going to have a different qualifying session where they go out instead of for 15 minutes, they're going to go out for 14 minutes. And that's going to totally make it different. And we're going to have it, instead of it being a 30% distance, we're going to have a 25% distance.
A rolling start, Dave? Like Daytona, Daytona USA racing game?
Like with IndyCar. But what gets me, right, we have qualifying on Friday. Yep, all good. So we watch Friday. Then we have qualifying on Saturday. It's the same fucking thing. Like
exactly. All they did was reduce it by a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes, and then what did you have to use? Hards in the first session, mediums in the
Dave,
No,
I don't know if you
and-
remember the Simpsons episode where they run up to the Malibu Stacy and they say, "But look, she's got a new hat." I think it's just a new hat.
That was the problem. It's like, okay, we're going to have this sprint day. Let's make the qualifying session different. Like, do something. Like, I was sat there watching the Indy. Once again, we'll go back to IndyCar, but I was watching the IndyCar qualifying on the Sunday morning, where they have they split the field in two, and then the top 6 from Group 1 go forward, the top 6 from Group 2 go forward. And I was thinking, and then they have 12, and then they have 6 at the end. I was thinking, well, for the sprint, wacky idea, they all go and draw out of a hat.
Ooh.
And you get 10 guys in Group 1, 10 guys in Group 2, and 5 go through for a top 10 shootout or whatever. But you might because it's its own day, we want to make it something a bit different. You could end up with, Max, Sergio, Charles, Lewis, George, all in one session. So your chances are that there's a good chance that someone good's going to miss out. And then you're going to get, you might get Yuki or whatever getting into the top 10. Now, it's not going to totally change because chances are, statistics and whatnot, you will end up with a fairly even split in both groups, and the normal kind of guys go forward. But it just adds a little bit it is something a bit different.
Yeah.
Or we make the sprint a reverse grid or something like that.
I was going to say the track or reverse grid.
Yeah.
Or do what they do in F2.
Because how good would it be having Sargent at the front and he'd be like, "This is where I belong."
Yeah,
I'm a winner.
At least, if you did qualifying a bit more like that, chances are you're still going to have the same guys at the front or whatever. But it just adds a little bit more. It is quite different, and give it a go. If it doesn't work, well, who cares? It's for the sprint race that, we'll try something different the weekend after. Or
Dave, going with your thing out of a hat, we have a hat. We have 2 hats. One, you have things like direction of the race, reverse grid. like in Mario Party and Mario Kart, and you can get different power-ups and weird wacky things. It should be things like you can get a little card that says swap positions with anyone on the grid. So if Yuki gets his card, he can swap it with Max. He goes to 1, Max goes down to 17. And then Max might have a card that says, if you ever have to swap with someone, you can swap with your teammate. And then he can swap with Perez. Perez goes to 17. And then Yuki goes to 2nd or something. It would anger everybody, and I would love it.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously,
except for Alonso.
Except for Alonso, he wouldn't care.
Alonso has a special secret card that basically says anytime someone asks you to do something, you can just say no and walk away.
He's sitting on a draw 4.
I feel like Alonso and Kimi are the only 2 completely immune from anything kind of drivers. They're the only 2 that someone would come up to them and go, Kimi, Alonso, you guys need to move to the back of the grid. They both go, no. And then they just sit in the car. Nothing happens. And then they just sit there back to talking or something or playing chess in between the 2 cars.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the whole sprint thing was the Grand Prix.
Gimmicky. It's gimmicky.
It was just the Grand Prix. It just felt like on Friday we had qualifying, on Saturday we had the same session.
Basically.
And when I had a bit of a look through and there wasn't actually that much different. There was a few people that were up and down.
Yeah, but it wasn't much,
But you actually had, what was it? I think it was 6 guys in exactly the same position on the grid for both races.
Okay.
And there was like another 6 that were only one position different.
Yeah, they need to mix
It
it up.
wasn't-
They got to.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And then so you go and have the race, and what was it? Leclerc finished second in one, and Verstappen finished second in one, and they were reversed in the other one. Like,
Actually, I just remembered something.
Yeah.
Bobby, did anyone crash outside the castle?
No, not this year.
How can we believe what anything Bobby says now? He basically promised us, and to all your listeners, Dave, there would be a crash outside the castle. I even think he said, I will give you $100, Dave, to backseat drivers if it doesn't happen. Maybe not 100.
Now you're
but
putting
at
not
least
100 bucks.
At least $50 in a kebab, Dave. I'd go back and check the footage.
Yeah, I'm paying for them.
yeah.
I think he needs to be investigated by the FIA as well.
If someone has the time, can they go back through last week's episode?
Who are we kidding? We've all got the time to go back and check that.
Although Yuki losing his tyre on the first lap.
Which one was that? That was in the...
That was in the main
That was a
race.
sprint, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't in the sprint.
When did he lose the...
It was the main race. I thought it was the main race.
No, because he was out in the sprint, and he was 10th, I think, in the main.
Yeah, he finished 10th.
Yeah.
Only Forgotten Chinaman and Nick had to retire.
Yeah, next weekend.
Nick did not have a weekend, super fun party weekend.
No. That was disappointing, to say the least.
Do we think Nick is making it to the end of the season?
He'll make it to the end of the season.
Yeah, so we need probably someone who knows what's going on in F2.
That's
But-
me.
and if anyone's watched the latest episode, I think it was the latest episode of Bus Bros, where they are giving it to Colton Herter quite hard about he's never going to get a super
for
license. Yeah.
Sure. No.
So,
that's what I want to ask Dave.
yeah.
Yeah, with Oscar saying that he was sick and he lost 3 kilos during the race, don't you normally lose 3 kilos during a race anyway?
It depends on the race.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him, but you lose a lot of weight in an F1 race anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it depends
also,
on
if you're
location of the
sick-
track, Matt.
And you're well enough to drive a car at 300 kilometers an hour, you know, how sick are you really? Like, you know, like, well done, but also it sounds like he was saying that after the race. By
Maybe
the
he's
way-
been watching Lewis too much, and there's got to be some kind of adversity that he overcomes
Exactly.
to, you
Guys,
know.
my little finger was sore, so when I pushed the button when I'm in pit lane, it hurt my finger. So, I mean, good on him, but also, you know, because where's he sitting now?
I don't know.
11th.
18th.
No, he's finishing equal 11th because basically he has 4 points, like 3 others next to
Yeah,
him.
because they got all the Melbourne points, didn't they? When
Yeah.
everyone else, crashed and
When they
whatnot.
crashed, the big crash.
I don't think you should count that. That's not a
The-
true.
The crash that never happened, but people didn't finish the race because of it.
Yes. The
Yeah,
crash that started
Yeah.
multiple times and
Yes.
and Carlos got penalised for it.
Exactly. All right. So yeah,
Well,
he's
we better
leaving just as I have questions.
just pack up and go.
I haven't done the F2 review. I haven't done the F2 yet.
Well,
I
do we
still
do
gotta
F2 review and then we go on to Matt's questions?
Sounds like
Yeah.
a good idea.
Okay.
Let's do that. We're getting the stinger.
Are we?
Oh.
Is this pre-recorded or is Booby?
Sorry,
This is live.
professionalism.
Oh yeah,
I
we
have
gotta watch the
I have to
opening
find
scene.
the Movies F2 report.
There we go. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah,
Which one
All
was
right.
that? Greg?
we'll do this.
There we go.
And then,
The big man. All right, so Baku.
and I can go to
the
sleep
F2.
for a minute.
Yes, you can. You can relax a bit. Now, Baku F2. Just had a quick look. Didn't actually get to watch free practice, but judging by what happened on the week, it was basically this weekend was Behrman's weekend. He just absolutely destroyed everything. First in free practice. Great, that just left me on my own. First in free practice. Hadjar was second, he was second fastest in free practice. Miami, he was third, and Doohan again just really struggling with. I don't know what's going on with Doohan this year in terms of his F2s. Just doesn't seem to have the same mojo he had last year. So he was 14th in free practice. Then we had quali again. Behrman absolutely destroyed it again as well. Fittipaldi qualified second, which actually not too bad from the Brazilian, and the Frenchman Pocher got third there too. Doohan again disappointing, qualified 16th. Now the sprint race. That's where most of the action happened in F2 during the weekend. That was basically people that were getting a little bit aggressive, that sort of stuff, and then there was a safety car Then the safety car came out, something happened, and then the safety car restart was absolute chaos. It was nuts. You had cars going all over the place. You had a car going underneath another car, basically, as well, all on that restart. And then, being what it is, it took them too long to actually clean up everything. It finished under safety car, which the way Melbourne technically should have finished during that period as well. But hey. But in terms of that, in the sprint race, Behrman again, absolutely killing it. It was his weekend. Nobody could touch him. Vesti finished second, his teammate, so that was good in the sprint race as well. And you had Crawford, the American, in third. Doohan didn't even finish in the sprint race. He basically crashed out on that turn one incident after the restart of the safety car. So pretty good. And then for the feature race is basically copy paste of what happened in F1. Very boring. Nothing much happened, and the people that qualified top three finished top three. So you had Behrman finishing first, Fittipaldi second, Pocher third, and Doohan finished 15th. Good weekend for Behrman, like you said. He apart from not getting fastest lap in the feature race, he got all the points all this weekend. The bonus for qualifying the sprint race, finished first, also got fastest lap in the sprint race as well. So he got a whole lot of points. So going by the Drivers' Championship, Pocher, with his points in the feature race, is still first on 65 points. Vesti is second on 62. Iwasa is third on 58. Behrman picking up I don't know how many points you can pick up on a weekend, probably close to 40, almost got that. Basically, he's now fourth in the championship on 41 points. And Miami is on equal points as well on 41 as well. Doohan is basically down in 13th because of the points he got last weekend the weekend in Saudi where he got some points. He's on 24 points. And in the teams, Prema's first on 103, Dams is second on 92, Art GP is third on 82. Campus is fourth on 74. And MP Motorsport is fifth on 70. And that's basically my F2 review for this week. Don't have to worry about the preview because there's no F2 in Miami this week.
So, Porsche's with the Sauber Academy, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Is Behrman attached to anyone?
He is actually attached to the Ferrari Academy.
Oh, okay, so he's going nowhere as well.
Basically, yeah.
So who's the front runner, I suppose, with Red Bull probably? They're the most likely to, because De Vries looks like he's going to be gone.
It'll have to be Iwasa then, because he's third in the championship at the moment.
Which he's essentially a Honda pick, though, isn't he, as well? He's not a Red.
No, he's not a Red Bull pick. He's more of a Honda pick.
Yeah,
But he's
so
still considered under the Red Bull Academy, though. But
yeah. But he's like Sonoda. Essentially, Sonoda wouldn't be there if it wasn't Honda wanting. Yeah. So realistically, he's probably not going to get promoted either.
No. So if we
without being outstanding.
Without being out, I'm just trying to think.
Hmm.
The only other person I could probably think there would be Mayani or Dennis Helga. Probably those two would be the next lot in the championship. They're currently fifth and sixth. So they're probably if Red Bull wants to pick somebody out, you got them.
Because really, when you look through the list of people at the most of the seats probably aren't going to change.
No, not really. Not for next year.
The Vries experiment is not working at the moment, so that will probably, and then the anticipation would be that Sonoda gets moved on once Honda's out. Yeah.
And so then there'll be Dennis. Then there'll be whichever guys they have when it becomes Red Bull, or if is that rumor still around that Toro Rosso was going to get bought out again, or is that?
I think Toro Rosso is always for sale. That's what I heard. The rumor is it's been for sale ever since they had it, and they've got a number up here, Booby, but it's got to match the number that you've got to tell them that number.
I think one of the big issues was that when Massachusetts bought it, he kind of guaranteed, because even when Stoddart had it, it was still Minardi still owned a portion of it, I think. And that was part of when Massachusetts bought it. He agreed that he'd keep it in Faenza.
Okay.
That it wouldn't be moved anywhere else. Like, that was one of the things. Minardi was very much like, I want it to stay in Italy. And he said, yep, no worries, we'll keep it in Italy. Whereas now with Massachusetts gone, that probably ramps it up a bit, because you haven't got that kind of ball and chain there holding it in Faenza. Like, so you could move the team somewhere a bit more appropriate. Yeah, because the difficulty is when you're in Italy, if someone wants to move to Italy, they're more likely to move to Italy to work for Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then your local people, they want to work for Ferrari. They don't want to work, because imagine going to the pub. I work in a Formula One team for Ferrari.
Yeah. Ferrari adjacent.
Yeah, that's So that's the issue that they've always had.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, now eventually, if somebody comes in with the right money, they could either move it to the UK or a better part of.
I could see Honda kind of taking over that entry.
You think so?
If they genuinely want to stay in the sport,
just tell them.
Where else do you move? Like,
but then when you keep it in, would you keep it in Italy, or then would you move it to the UK?
Knowing what Honda's like,
completely, Dave.
I'll move it to Japan.
Yeah, Porsche are out.
They're gone. They're well and truly gone. So you're not moving it to Germany then?
No.
And
besides, Porsche would have moved it to the UK anyway, if that's where most of the people are.
But what I'm getting, like, you've with Honda, you've genuinely got someone who it's looking like they want to stay in.
Yeah.
McLaren is
Honda McLaren. We know what's happened with that.
Is that the right fit? And then if they really want to Williams is a bit whether you are buying a stake in it or whether you just supply them an engine. Then you don't have proper control, etc., etc. Yeah. Whereas with Toro Rosso, you probably can buy the team and have control of it.
Oh yeah,
control your destiny, and that's where I'm leaning. The more logical decision would be to go, other than the fact it's stuck
in Italy.
Yeah, let's get let's get a Super Mario Andretti team. And then on the side, Dave, you write Super
GM.
Mario Andretti along the side of it, and then you
Cadillac.
give them all mustaches, and then you hope that Nintendo's released a new movie and they do a decal livery special thing for when they go to Italy and be completely culturally insensitive. Because if there's one thing we know, that liveries look cool and everyone loves Mario.
Of course.
Now,
So is it Matt's question time?
I've
Yep.
waited an extra 20 minutes, Dave. I've been
I
very
was gonna say,
patient.
we have gone for an hour, and basically, other than off the rails at the start, where we were talking about hats and lights.
No.
Other stuff,
That's
lights.
just opening chat. That's just going down conversation lane.
That was keeping busy while Matt was not around.
Exactly. But then we got into the serious stuff, and we actually did pretty well.
Serious stuff.
Hmm.
Have I got
Yeah,
my
okay,
little
Matt.
thing?
Bring your thing on. Bring it on.
Yeah,
Have
we're
I got my
waiting.
little video?
We're waiting for
My
you.
little video.
you want your?
And
I'm
Wooby gets one, and he gets to wear a fancy.
It's time for Matt to take the discussion off the rails.
Yeah.
We
So
see.
I have a couple of questions and things that I saw this week. First
Yeah.
one, Dave. I had a look. They've listed all the F1 tracks and their current contracts of how long they've got left. A couple of things surprised me because one of the tracks that has the longest contract is Melbourne. Now, is that because Melbourne have done an offer to F1 and said, you can have our track for as long as you need? Or does F1 really, really like Albert Park?
I think it's from the F1 side of things, it's a good one to have in the area because then you are covering this continent.
It covers Asia Pacific really well.
And we're probably in the lucky position that we are a separate continent, and then the only one that's missing is South Africa, which they are looking to add as well. So then they can say they go to every continent. Yeah. And that probably helps with our negotiation a little bit. But also then if you lock in a long term, you can probably get a slightly better deal.
That's what I was thinking.
With
the longer it is, the cheaper they're probably paying.
Yeah, because, so with the escalators and whatever, the contract's probably a little bit different these days. But also we've done stupid things like signed up. I don't know if the F2, F3 is for the length of that contract. But then also it does give, when, say, Melbourne spends on the facilities, upgrading stuff, that then you can go, right, well, we have a contract with Formula One for the next 10 years. When we spend this $50 million or whatever, you're amortizing that over the 10 years of the contract, rather than we have a 3-year contract, we're going to spend $50 million. We don't know what's going to happen in year 4. Whereas some of the other places that we're going to are a bit more fast and loose with their money, let's say.
Yes.
So they don't need that kind of security.
Well, the one that surprised me, Dave, which was Melbourne has the longest one. Monaco's one is very short, and it's also very much up in the air. Monaco
is very different though, in that it is, I suppose, kind of the crown jewel.
That's what I was thinking
of the Formula One. And as much as people, it's a qualifying race. Not much happens. It is that kind of. It's one of those very links back to like Monaco was in the 1950 World Championship. I think it's the only, now that we've had COVID, but like the Italian Grand Prix did bounce between Monza and San Marino a couple of times. And Silverstone hasn't always had the British Grand Prix. I think there's Aintree, Brands Hatch have hosted it as well. I think there was a third one.
Yeah, there was something.
Donington didn't. No, because Donington had the European Grand Prix. But I think there was possibly Brooklands or something like that. earlier on.
Okay.
But anyway, in the first World Championship, you had Silverstone, Monaco, and Monza, like in 1950, the first time. So
okay.
there is that kind of link where they're a bit like three heritage races that are now seen as, quite
They're the
special
ones that you can't really get rid of.
Yeah. And Monaco's always had. They were the only one that didn't pay a sanction fee.
Yep.
Oh.
Until recently, but also that's where you get like the Tag Heuer, I think it is, branding instead of the Rolex branding, because Monaco is allowed to put their own sponsorship boards up around the track.
Okay.
Whereas the other circuits, that's actually F1 putting up the sponsorship boards and that around the circuit and over the bridges and stuff like that.
But you think that would change right now? You think that would change now with the fact that Liberty Media owns F1? And they basically say, okay. And also, especially with the television coverage, every time we go to Monaco, it's always coverage too.
Yeah, because that was part of their deal as well, that they do their own TV for it, whereas all the other tracks have, the same team that goes around. But things like that are changing now, whereas previously, you probably had more a handshake, something like that.
All right. Well, my next one is I don't know if you saw GQ have a series on YouTube of the 10 things I can't live without.
Yeah.
And they did everyone's favorite American F1 driver, Logan.
Oh I keep forgetting about him.
Yeah, he's in there. He made an interesting comment, which I thought was pretty hilarious. Basically, he was going on about things that he needs to survive with, Dave. Now, we all know what a CD is and a DVD is. They're relics from the past. Two of the things that he needed to survive were...
I've got a CD
on my desk. Well, he has the CD of the 8 Mile soundtrack and the DVD of Wolf of Wall Street. And he says that after a hard weekend...
You can't live without?
You can't live without that.
No, but they were interesting enough. The best comment he made, though, Dave, was basically he alluded to the fact that because he was American, they weren't very nice to him in the European circuit, trying to give him the impression that it's very hard to be a white American in Formula One. Now, I give a lot of crap to Lewis Hamilton, but let's be honest, I think Lewis Hamilton probably has had a lot harder time when it comes to his ethnic background than a white American called Logan Sargent, the most American name on
No, Stingray.
Yeah, but he's coming from, he's a well financially healed American as well.
Yeah. There's nothing about him that screams struggle. We give Lewis, crap for being Lewis, but let's be honest, he's done it a lot harder than a lot of the other drivers. His background, his financial background, whereas from what it sounds like, Logan is American Lance. He's basically just him and Lance are just two cousins from the same family.
I would say he probably a bit more like George Russell.
Okay.
So still annoying.
Lance is fucking billionaire money, whereas I think Logan and like George Russell, they're millionaires.
But they're still well off though, Dave.
They're well off.
Oh yeah, they're comfortable.
They didn't grow up where it's like, we have to drive here and struggle.
A struggle for me, for Logan, might have been, my dad bought me a Lamborghini for my 18th birthday.
It was red, not black.
And it didn't come with all the options I wanted. What a struggle!
First world problem.
Yeah. Just on a side note, though, we gave it too hard to Latifi the last couple of years.
Yeah.
If you hadn't noticed, we kind of got stuck into Latifi. Does anyone else feel like maybe you'd care more if Latifi was there? Like, I do not care about that second Williams.
I like Latifi.
Whereas at least I would pay attention to what Latifi was doing.
Exactly.
Whereas
You know
now
what,
it's like
Dave?
Williams
People
has two
remember
cars.
Latifi.
What? Yeah.
They will remember Latifi. They will forget Logan.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure.
Like if he goes at the end of the year, it'll be that like a pointless question in
It'll be a
10 years'
trivia
time or
question.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It'll
you'll be like, oh, yeah, Logan Sargent raced in Formula One for that 1 year.
Yeah.
For 7 races. 7 races, Dave. And then they kicked him out.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's probably the other seat that's a bit, I can't remember whether that was a 2-year deal or, but
You wouldn't give a rookie a 2-year deal, would you? You'd always do 1.
depends on the rookie.
You'd
I
give
mean,
him 1.
Fernando got a 2-year deal.
He's rookie of the year, though. That's different.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I think George Russell was on a 3-year
Well, he's a super rookie.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on a
But
2-year deal.
Yeah. So, there'll be clauses to get out and whatever. But if he disappeared right now, you would.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, Dave,
I'm just looking at how much he's getting paid.
Driver,
How
let's say
much?
Latifi first and then Logan.
I'll wait till Matt. Anyway, Matt, this is what he's getting paid. His base salary for the year is $400K.
Is this Logan?
US. This is Logan.
They have to
His
pay him in
base
US,
salary-
but he doesn't understand anything else.
Okay.
Freedom dollars.
Freedom dollars.
Freedom dollars. And also he gets a per race wage as well of $17,000.
I also
That's
heard he
his
gets $1
contract.
million
Yeah.
for every race he wins.
I don't know. There's a sign.
Why don't you say he gets $1 billion for every race
He
he
gets
wins?
$1 billion.
No. Hungary, was it something yen? As the joke goes.
And my last thing, Dave and Booby, are we all excited for I'm going to say, driving videos of the movies of the year? Not only do we have Dom's Family Super Driving Adventure Happy Force Interspace Rocket Ship Adventure, number 10.
Yep.
We also have a Sony PlayStation 5 ad disguised as a movie called Gran Turismo.
I haven't seen the Gran Turismo
I've seen the Gran Turismo.
Trailer
Do you
yet.
want me to replay it here, Dave, and I'll explain it? So
It's not like
basically-
you're not going to get demonetized.
No, I'm not playing it. I'm just going to tell you, Dave, in my own words. Basically,
because I think
Ginger
we can
Spice is
play
the
it in
mum.
the background.
Ginger Spice is the mum, Dave.
Yeah.
I've forgotten all the other characters. Basically,
The
he
guy
gives,
from
like,
Guardians of the Galaxy, the evil guy from Guardians of the Galaxy is the dad.
is he?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Basically, they but they also have the F1 racing line. We went racing when I think they even used that line in the
they did.
movie. I think because it's probably produced by Red Bull that they're going to sneak in as many
Probably.
Toto jabs.
Also, how good have we been this podcast? No Toto jabs this entire time.
I know.
Well, do you want me to start?
Why not?
Well, apparently he's a billionaire now.
Yep.
Duke, what was the? Formula One's boring. We need to change it.
Oh my
No,
God.
you're just not winning. You.
Dynasties rise and fall. Unfortunately, Mercedes now is in this phase of it's going downhill. It's going to go downhill for a bit.
Yeah.
Eventually, you might pop up.
Well, I wonder about that as well, though, because they
The
were in
talent
the
train, yeah.
they were in the fortunate position though. He came in after Ross Brawn set everything up, and
Yeah.
they were up here, and everyone else is miles behind. And the way the regulations were, essentially, it took Honda 10 years or whatever to catch up on the engine front. Like realistically, Red Bull, as designing car,
Yep.
they were probably actually doing a better job than what Mercedes was, but that engine advantage was stratospheric. So Ferrari does their implode thing. none of the other teams could spend money to, catch up. So Mercedes had this advantage that was done by someone who got kicked out essentially as the domination started. And then gradually they've been coming down, or the others have been going up, however you want to look at it. But now they're at that point, and you've got that stubbornness within the team where, no, we're fucking brilliant. We won all these championships, whatever, but just, for simplicity, no side pods, that's the way to go. Yeah, we are fucking brilliant.
Everyone is wrong.
Yep, that's it. We are fucking brilliant. This is going to work. Which, they're not that far off the pace, but they are off the pace. And there is an issue there, and they don't know how to solve it because they haven't got. And they have also lost some of the top people and whatever. Yeah, and that's the thing. And people do move on, but they haven't got that. And it's nearly like to me, it's looking nearly like they don't know why, because you haven't got the people there that set it up. So they haven't got that to make it better.
Yeah.
So Toto's been kind of going, which I could be totally wrong, and they could be awesome next year and whatever. But to me, all of them were running on the coattails of what Ross Brawn set up.
Yeah. And
they've all pulled the wool over your eyes. We're fucking brilliant. We know exactly what we're doing, rah, rah. And until you get that kind of mentality out of the place, they're probably then going to drop behind, because now you've I can only see Aston Martin getting better next year. I can't see them. Yeah, but they've got the right people to push that forward. They did make a big leap with the new regulation, but they've got the people to drive that forward. Whereas I'm not sure Mercedes, the Mercedes attitude is a bit like the Ferrari, and they'll get in that middle ground. I can see them, and McLaren and Alpine all being in that middle, no, we know what we're doing. We're fucking awesome. Well, no, you're not.
No, you got to.
Yeah. And then to turn around and, we're not winning, so Formula One's boring. Well, yeah. Stick it up. This is what we had to put up with for 8 years or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And really, to me, if he'd stuck at Williams, and that team would have still won all those championships, and they would probably still be winning now. They wouldn't have let Red Bull take 2021, and they would have been still the same juggernaut the last 2 years. A situation would have been worse.
But it probably would have been amazingly boring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it would have been spectacularly boring. It would have been, it would have just gone from fucking strength to strength.
But do you think if Toto was on Williams, he'd have even more things to complain about, and Drive to Survive would be way more exciting?
No one would give a shit about him, because he would have still had shit, because he wouldn't have had the money to spend.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And he wouldn't have had the backup. There.
Maybe in an alternate universe, him and Mr. Ginger Spice were good friends, and they gang up on Brawn. Yeah. So that's the thing. He didn't, as much as in his head, he came in at just the right time with that team.
Yeah.
He didn't really build anything; it was built. So anyway, that's my Toto rant for tonight.
Well, I've got a new thing, Dave. So basically, because picking the winners of each F1 race is boring and stupid, I've decided, because it's basically
because we've got a race this weekend.
Yeah, yes, so basically you just pick 2 Red Bulls, doesn't matter which order, and then you just pick a wild card. My new thing, Dave, is tire strategy. And I've got a new one. It's called the Ocon. It's where you're hard for most of the race, and then you go soft.
Right at the end.
right
Right
at
at
the
the
very end.
in front of a
good
crowd
chance-
of photographers.
Yeah, and there's a good chance when you go soft, you might knock out a photographer. Basically, I think, basically it's just take the Red Bulls.
Yep.
Is it a street circuit, Perez?
Yes.
If not,
Yep. Max?
give it to Max, and then you sort of like get a bit of paper with Alonso's face on it. Maybe Ferrari. You throw it in the air, and whichever one lands upright on your hand, that's third place.
You could, I mean, you can add Mercedes really into that
Yeah.
mix.
Maybe. And then basically the new thing now is just to pick what tyre strategies everyone's going to do, except Ferrari. They're just going to put on whatever
They'll
they
do anything.
see.
Hey, did Ferrari actually fuck up any strategy or anything over the weekend, though?
No.
No,
I don't think they did.
No.
And
Because and Leclerc off third.
But Dave, let's be honest.
Wait.
nothing happened in
Leclerc
that
was
race.
second and third.
Sorry, third.
There's
second.
2 races over the
Oh yeah,
weekend.
sprint. Sorry.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about the sprint.
Everyone
It
did,
is-
Bobby. Everyone did.
It did feel like a replay.
It was rinse and
You
repeat.
sat there and it's like,
it was a KO Mini.
I watched this yesterday.
It was a little KO Mini. They did the 10-minute race, and then they did the.
All right, so I'll use Matt's formula now. Okay.
Yep.
Miami, street circuit, Perez. So Perez won. Max.
Is it a street circuit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
See, this
technically.
this has got a lot more long flowing corners and stuff, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I
in that case. All right,
I think this will be a little bit more.
it's a hybrid.
Yeah,
It's a hybrid street.
a little bit
slash
more
track.
towards Max. Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Similar
Checo
to
won
Melbourne.
in Saudi Arabia, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, one's Saudi.
it'll be a closer battle. It'll
Okay,
be
so
like
that's
the
50-50. So it's a flip of the coin.
Saudi. Yeah. And realistically, Max was going to win.
Yeah.
On the weekend, other than the safety car coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, just
Like
really strategy.
He did get shafted a bit by that.
Yeah.
So
he'd done the
The important question is who's coming third then?
Ooh.
I
reckon
hope
Alonso.
Alonso.
I want Alonso to go third. Yeah. Unanimous. And then tyre
I
strategy.
want Alonso to come third, and I also want Taylor Swift to be on the pit lane walk.
Oh,
That'd be beautiful. Also,
People
Who
would
is
lose
it?
their mind.
they would
who's
absolutely lose their
excited
mind.
to see DJ Khaled talk at Martin Brundle, even though when he wasn't asked, and another rapper pushing him out of the way and then getting.
Oh no!
absolutely
No!
flying.
That's
Who's
not gonna
excited
happen.
that Martin Brundle's going to be back?
Oh, I'm loving that.
Everybody
Yeah.
likes that.
Yeah.
Who was it? They had Ted and Damon Hill on the grid walk. This at
Oh,
back.
Ted,
That was
Ted
the
doesn't
big-
need to
that
be
was-
there. I'm not a fan of Ted. Ted's an idiot.
And then that was just the most boring thing ever. It's like
Ted's
you
lost
just-
a bit of
He's no.
luster.
You know what he needs to be?
Ted's
He needs
too
to be
busy
that
going on
guy.
a worldwide vigilante mission to hunt down Mr. Massey.
Red Bull.
He's playing
Yeah.
where in the world is
Yeah.
Mr. Massey San Diego?
I think he needs to
He needs to chill on that.
possibly let that go. But yeah.
No, hold on to it forever, Dave.
Oh,
No, I want
Yeah.
Brundle back. Just having Brundle there is just he's Mr. Pit Walk. You want him
Hey,
there
Dave, here's
because
a question.
he
Does Lewis care as much as Ted does about the last race in 2020?
Oh, I think there's a fair bit of bitterness there.
there is
If
some
you
bitterness.
had
Like
any
it didn't
skill-
actually get.
I think the problem is though, as like with if you open up that can of worms, you null and void that race.
Yeah,
Max is still the champion.
exactly.
But then also, you open up, then we null and void Singapore 2008, and then all of a sudden that takes one of the championships away
Exactly. Oh, wait.
and things like that. Like, if you really drill down into it, yeah,
It's just people being too emotional. They're letting the emotion. If you go by
Yeah.
reason, you just say, okay, fine, it happened. It happened. That's it. You let it go. But
Yeah.
then
you effectively you can't change what happened on that day. So, yeah, all you can do then is, like, as I said, you null and void it, which Max still becomes champion.
Max still champion.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah. Anyway.
So, do we know who's been given a pit wall ticket?
No idea.
No.
We don't know yet.
Hopefully,
obviously,
will be there.
DJ Khaled will be there because
I reckon he will be. You'd have to be there for sure.
And hopefully the rule is in place that you can't tell Martin to move out of the way because he owns the pit walk. You're just there as a guest.
Yeah, well, I think they have been wording up the guests, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Because
you've had a year to remember who he is. So
yeah.
Yeah, when they hand them the ticket, there's a little picture, and these are the people who are, yeah.
Here's a picture of Martin. Here's a picture of the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You know.
This is Tay-Tay's boyfriend.
You know what would be the best, actually, Dave? Is if Alonso wins and Tay-Tay presents the medal to him, and they're both in on the act. And they
I was just going to say, I think I'd be more disappointed if I found out that it was actually true.
Yeah.
The fun of it is that it's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and he's just trolling.
He's trolling the internet. Yeah.
I think he's just having way too much fun with it. And he's like, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah. But that would be awesome then if she was there as a guest.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, the internet's going to lose its mind.
Going to Miami F1. I'm just checking if the internet knows if she's
okay.
No, they've only got the ones from last year, not this year.
Could Taylor Swift be one of the many celebrities that that shown up? They don't really say. I'm going to say yes, she's going to be there.
I hope so.
It'll be fun.
You hope so anyway.
I hope they play it up.
Yeah. I hope Alonso gets a podium finish and she's presenting third place for no reason.
Yeah.
When was it, Dave, that speaking of wacky people that presented stuff, when was it that Shaq presented an award? And he was like, because he's 7'10". Was it Shaq or someone?
It was Shaq and Coda.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Shaq's been involved at some point.
I reckon it was a couple of years ago. Shaq he did it at Coda, Circuit of Americas. Although the time of the Miami race is not exactly the best either.
What time's the Miami race?
4:30 in the morning.
So KO Mini the next day.
Or nah, I'd watch the full replay.
Yeah, I'll probably get up early and watch it before work. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is this on a Monday morning?
Yeah. So you can just watch it while you're at work, Matt.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know about you, Dave, but I don't start work at 4:30 in the morning. That's a bit early for me.
Yeah. Well, I've got the races 5:30 a.m. in the calendar.
Is it?
That's still a bit early for me.
So if that's what it is,
I can wake up.
That works out quite well for me going to work.
I will.
Sorry, my mistake. It is 5:30.
There we go.
I was thinking first
wrong,
practice.
Dave. That's 2. No crash into the castle, and no knowing the time of the F1.
Monaco in a couple of weeks could be the difficult decision.
Is that like 2 in the morning?
No.
No, because Indy's on at 2:00 in the morning. So I think it might be early to bed, early up to watch the 500, and then maybe watch Monaco.
Oh, you got the 500.
Yeah.
Is that the one where they drink milk as the winner?
Yes.
Yes.
So that
See,
means
I don't know how this isn't right up your alley.
I know.
I know. That's the only reason I know it. It's because they drink milk, and as a champion milk drinker, who can?
I would have thought, you would have been all over.
Exactly. The Indy
One,
500.
they get to pick. They've all had to pick their milk.
Oh,
so all the drivers that are entered, they have to fill out a card, and they have the milk ready to go. If because I'm lactated, I'd say, could I please have some oat milk? And they would have oat milk there ready for me to go.
You know how much Booby loves his oat milk? He'd have a liter of oat milk waiting for him.
Oh, for sure.
In fact, Dave, you know how Booby would have it? He'd have someone drive up in a Tesla, hand him the oat milk, and then take a photo on his iPhone. That would be Booby's perfect afternoon.
I'd tell you what, though, if I was in that position, I would be writing on that card whatever the fuck. Like, if I were in the Indy 500, I do not care. Give me whatever.
Cow's milk. Give me chocolate cow's milk. That's it.
I'll suffer the consequences. Yeah. But yeah, you could essentially put down, I want ice break or something, and they'll have ice break there ready to.
So it just has to be a milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can ask for like chocolate milk or strawberry milk or whatever, or can I have low fat or full fat or.
Have you tried the new butterscotch? I think it's Dare coffee.
No.
Delicious.
See, because I am a lactard,
you are.
I try and avoid those things these days.
You can live like.
You guys want to know? I've got the list from last year
of the milks.
Yes.
What do we got?
Marcus had full cream, didn't he?
So basically, who was it? Who won last year? Marcus Ericsson. He just wanted whole milk.
Yeah.
Scotty Dixon was whole milk.
Yep.
Devlin Francesco wanted whole milk but chocolate.
Read the ones that aren't whole milk, Booby. What's the wacky ones?
Ed Carpenter wanted buttermilk.
Oh, that's a brave choice.
Helio Castro Neves wanted 2% milk, but he wanted pink powder in it.
Gay.
Yeah.
2%.
Devlin Francesco was whole milk with chocolate. One guy, Santino Ferrucci, last year wanted whole milk as well, but he wanted it ice cold. Colin Herter wanted chocolate milk. Callum.
Now, you know what Colin Herter wanted? An F1 super license, but they don't make that in milk.
Wait a second. All right, so I'm just going through it. A couple of 2%ers. One, Jimmy Johnson said whole milk, just make sure it's cold.
Wait, there's a guy called Jimmy Johnson. Of course there is.
He was a NASCAR driver.
Of course he was, Dave.
Yeah.
And his best mate, Scotty Scotterson.
Well, Scott McLaughlin just wanted whole milk. It just said his caveat was just make it cold. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Montoya said no preference as long as it's chocolate.
It's a preference, Montoya, you idiot. You don't know what preference means.
That's probably him just trolling it.
He's probably trolling it.
I would say orange juice.
No, somebody said Marco Andretti said whole, but he said no orange juice. That was Marco Andretti's choice. And then the only other one, Graham Rahal said whole. Since chocolate isn't an option, tradition matters. So basically, chocolate. Ooh, that's what he wrote. And Ron Quist said whole milk as well, and he wants buttermilk as well. And our favorite Japanese guy,
rich.
And then our favorite Japanese guy in the championship, Sato, wanted 2% milk as well.
Yeah.
Yuck.
So that was the choices last year.
Taku's just gone down a level in my books.
He has with that.
Now.
Yeah.
So that was the milk choices from last year. So it's still a while. So hopefully they bring out the milk choices for next year, or for this year, sorry. And that way we can have a debate on it.
I'm going to do it here. I will drink the milk live on this show of whatever the winner drinks.
You heard that?
The whole gallon?
Is it a gallon?
So 4.5. American? Is it American gallon or is it a U?
I don't think it's actually a gallon. It's just like a bottle.
How
So
much?
it'd be. Is it a pint or something? It's usually a pint.
It might
or
be,
something.
yeah. It's just it looks like about a litre.
Yeah.
Which normally they just tip it over their head.
Oh,
they take a sip
I've seen
and
drink
then,
it. They take a sip and
Yeah.
they just tip it.
yeah.
How much milk does the? I will drink. We'll find out, Dave. But I will drink live on the show.
Come on, buttermilk.
Nah, actually, the funny thing is though, none of the drivers actually chose a dairy substitute.
Yeah, because I think most of them are just, as I said, like, if you were in that position,
You just drink milk.
you'd be like, I'd be like, I do not care. Like,
You know what I'm worried
Yeah.
about, Dave? I'm concerned that the person that wins drinks 2%. I
Oh,
would rather drink a litre of buttermilk or full cream or chocolate or strawberry. 2%
Yeah.
feels like a waste.
yeah, especially after that.
It's a
Yeah.
waste of my talents.
They're like then going to the pub and, let's celebrate our Indy 500 win. I'd like a light beer, please.
Yeah.
No, you are getting hammered tonight. You won the Indy
Dave,
500.
You're
Yeah.
either drinking the beer and the hard liquor or Pepsi
Yeah.
Max. There's no in between.
Yeah, that's
You're one of-
if you
You're either
win
not
the
drinking
Yeah.
or you're drinking.
if you win the Indy, like, you are drinking the bar.
Yeah.
Like, if you're having a drink after something like that, it's on. Like,
You're not drinking.
you are not recovering till the next round.
Yeah.
Oh wow, they actually sell a replica of it.
Of the
online.
milk.
No, of the bottle.
Can you order it, Boovie, and fill it up with milk so I can drink it, look like a winner?
I don't think it'll arrive in time.
Not that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Well, it's only $10. It must be really miniature. It's a miniature bottle. It's not the actual bottle.
Yeah.
I'll just keep drinking it through the whole show. I'll just keep taking shots.
I want to know how big the bottle is. It doesn't say how big the bottle is.
That's it. I'm going to get some milk. Dave,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, buttermilk or milk?
What if it's
Sounds
chocolate?
good.
Chocolate milk you'd love.
Well, if it's chocolate milk, I'm a winner. I mean, how is that a
Oh,
bad
okay.
thing?
Found it.
How
32
big is it?
ounces.
2
32
ounces?
32.
What's that in English?
32. I don't know.
A litre.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it. So liters. Matt, you'll scull a liter easy.
I've sculled a litre many of times. One time we even filmed it.
I think we did one guy on a trip to scull 3.5 to scull a 2-liter bottle. It didn't work out well for him at the end. It didn't work out well
That's
for him.
Matt's Saturday night.
I know. That sounds like a dream Saturday night.
2 liters of milk.
F1, 2 litres of milk. Do it again on Dave's live chat. I mean,
What more do you want?
Perfect.
the only problem is,
gonna-
I'm going to have to buy more milk for the fridge.
I know you finish all of it.
All right, I'm looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Li-
That won't be.
live
So I'll
milk
be.
challenge.
It's not far away now.
I'm gonna put it in our notes, Dave, at the very top.
Okay, so that will be on the 1st of June. On that episode, the 1st of June will be the episode after the Indy 500.
Milk live. Done.
So what episode is
I
that?
think we've covered everything, Dave.
12,
in this-
13, 14.
In this super
Okay.
bumper 100-minute episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's actually
That's good.
so that'll be episode 15 where Matt will drink the milk.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And And on that
up to the other
bombshell,
episodes, but also,
Yeah.
also
Turn up for that.
yeah, what other wacky things we'll come up with by then?
There'll be always wacky
You know
things.
what, Dave? We may have even seen Fast and the Furious 10, and we could all discuss it.
Oh, yes.
We could
But I
actually do a
believe-
movie review.
I believe
Yes, we could.
a super sub up there is booking our tickets soon.
They still haven't got tickets for the date that we're supposed to
Oh,
organise yet. I can't book anything yet. I know.
all right.
All right, guys. I
On
am
that
booked.
note-
Don't worry about that. All right, guys.
All right, all.
Well,
Adios.
see you next week.
I'm going to
Thanks
go
for
play
watching.
the piano now because that's
Okay.
what I do.
That's your actual house
That's my
Yep.
actual house.
in Miami.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
See you.
I rented off DJ Khaled.
See you at the Grand Prix on the weekend then.
I'll be doing the pit walk.
No worries.
Night, everyone.
See you all.
Bye-bye.